I'd like to welcome y'all to the author's interview. This is JJEROME, and this is the first time that JJEROME has put his face with the author name. So if you know him as JJEROME, you're a stalker. You need help. You know, it's no way you should know that. JJEROME, man, thanks for letting me do this, man.
Thank you.
Ready to get this thing started?
Yes,
Yeah.
let's get it started.
Toast, man.
Yes. All right.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
All right, let's hop right into it. Why JJEROME is the author name?
Well, I wanted to have an author pen name, and originally I wanted to use a combination of my legal name. I was looking for J.J. Turner, but of course when I did my research, I found there's a J.J. Turner out there. So, I shifted, and Jerome is my middle name, and of course my first name starts with a J, so J. Jerome, and I think it's kind of catchy. It's stuck,
It is very simple, direct. Not a lot of thought behind it, and it's personal too, right?
Absolutely.
Love
yes,
it, man.
Yes.
All right, let's keep it moving.
Yeah.
So, what gave you the idea to write this book, and how difficult it was for you to write this?
The idea is it's one of my ideas that's been in motion for years, decades actually. I have 7 books in the works. This is one of those 7 that I actually completed. And it wasn't difficult to write because I've been writing pretty much my whole life since high school. I've been start starting as an author, and I finally finished Priscilla. So this is one of those that I finished.
Okay, so a few things to dive into there, right? So you say you've been off and on, been writing this since 2014, right?
Yeah.
How long does it take you to typically write a book? You say you about got 7 of them in works.
Yeah, and other authors that's watching this can probably relate. There's no real timeline of writing the novel, writing a fiction book. It can vary. As I said, I began writing this one about 2014. The other books have been going since high school, stop and start. It's when you get the motivation and you'll get going, and the next thing you know, you just boom, 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 you're just pumping out chapters. Okay. So it can vary.
Okay. Fair enough. So, with that, when did you develop a passion for writing? When did you know that you had this passion for writing? Was it in grammar school, high school, college?
Yeah, it goes back to grammar school. Probably most people can relate. If you came up in the 80s, 90s, you had to read different books in grammar school, such as The Great Gatsby. And, me reading those
Taking it
books.
way back there.
Yeah. Reading those books and seeing how the authors took you through the journey of the characters and everything, it got me to wanting to write. And that was my motivation for writing way back then. Started with poetry, of course, for school. And then it kind of morphed into writing songs. I got one of my good friends that we were writing songs together. You might know him. You might know him very well. And then I originally wanted to write songs for singers and get those out into the world. And it morphed into writing books because, essentially a song is a story. So I started to turn those into writing books, and therefore those 7 books that I'm talking about were birthed. Yeah.
That's very interesting. So you started off writing poetry, songs, and then from there it took a life on its own.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
That's pretty awesome, man. That's not a lot of everybody has a certain place where they start from.
Yep.
So it's nice to hear, that you didn't just start off like, hey, I just want to write a book. Right.
Yeah.
That it was a progression.
Oh yeah. This wasn't just like last year. I want to be an author. No, I've been writing. I write so much. I got notes in my phone. I got a little piece of paper all over the place. I've been writing my whole life. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So that moves me right into the next one, right? Priscilla. I know it's a fictional book.
Yep.
Right? Novel. So do you plan on writing such fictional novels or any other genres?
Well, actually, that's a great question. Priscilla is a suspense thriller fiction novel. I'm going to stick to that for the most part, but I'm going to venture off into other genres. I really have an attraction to paranormal, so I might have some novels that lean towards the paranormal. I'm a big believer in the afterlife and our family members that have moved on being around us and supporting us and pushing us and motivating us, guiding us. So, I might get off into some paranormal. I don't see me being sci-fi or anything like that. Even with paranormal, if I do that, it'll be suspenseful, thriller type of writing.
Okay. So with that, right? You seem to have a pretty knowledge of where you want to take things or where you want to go. So you say you wrote 7 books, right? And then the process and all of those things are there, right? So out of those books, which one is your favorite, and why?
Yeah, so about 7. Priscilla is one of the 7 in the works, and this one is complete. Priscilla is my favorite right now, and because it's the first. So I wanted to finish one and put one out to the world, right? So Priscilla's out to the world, and so it's like almost like a first child,
Right.
for a novel. So Priscilla is my favorite right now.
So how did you get here? How did you get to this one being out? You say you're writing for 7 years.
Yeah.
How what made you just say, this one, I'm putting it out, this is the one?
Absolutely. Two main things. The pandemic was one. So last year with COVID-19 and the pandemic, working from home for my job, my 9 to 5, and you find this extra time because in a big city like Chicago or any city that you're in, you eliminate some of the commute. You're not in traffic all day, so you got an hour and a half to spare, and I use that as for writing time, and I expanded on my weekend writing time as well. Then I got a little motivation from one of my friends. We were just reflecting last summer about losing people in our life, family members in the last 4 years that we lost, and we were just talking about things we wanted to leave as a mark on this world, and I kept
legacy.
saying, legacy.
Yeah.
I want to have a novel done before I leave this world. And he kind of challenged me. He said this was August. He said, well, in that case, we should be editing your book by Thanksgiving. And, I'm a person you don't challenge. So the week of Thanksgiving, I sent him a text message letting him know that Priscilla was done, and the rest is history.
That sounds like a very smart guy.
He was a smart guy. Motivate me. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. I think I might know this guy.
You might know him.
Ah, man. Yeah. Look at this. Great things. All right. So let's hop into the book, Priscilla. I want to get into the release date, right?
Okay. Yep.
The 26th.
Mm-hmm.
Why was that the release date? The April 26th.
Yeah, April 26th is my mother's birthday, my late mother's birthday. She's been gone for almost 2 years now, Christmas Eve, and it was tough for everybody. And I wanted to do it on her birthday in honor of her. Me and her, we always had a relationship where we're loving, but we challenged each other. I was always an adult as a child. Sure. So that's how we clash at times. True. But we love each other. Yeah, you know it.
Yeah.
But I always let her know, I want to write books. And she always joked, yeah, one day you'll write my life, And I probably won't write her life, but I'm sure that she's proud that this book is out.
All right. So to clarify, this is not a book about your mother's life.
No, it's not about her life. She's not in the book. Yeah. She's none of the characters. None of the things that happen to her. But she's a motivation to get it done and get it out to the world.
And no other family members.
No. It's all fiction.
It's all fiction. No.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Don't want the best man to come on you.
That's right. None of that best man stuff.
Best man stuff.
We'll kiss you on your forehead. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So the name Priscilla is very unique. What made you come up with Priscilla?
That's a really good question. I have to say, first of all, I don't have a reason for the name to be Priscilla, So I said 2014, this book was started, and I wanted to follow the journey of a young girl. And to be honest, the first couple chapters, I'm writing her journey, and she didn't have a name. She, I was writing this.
Nameless girl.
Yeah,
So it's right about nameless girl.
Yeah. And as her story was developing, I got to the point where I needed to name her, and I wanted to make sure that it was more about the journey, the coming of age story, the struggle, everything, the choices for her, and not just so much her name. And when you see Priscilla, when you read the story, you're gonna connect to what the ethnicity is of the person and the people in the story, but you'll be more connected to the character. And I thought Priscilla was a name that would define a leading character very well.
And you did a great job with that. It's a very unique name. It gives her She stands out amongst everybody else, as she should in the book. So that right there, man.
Thank you.
I guess it was meant for it to be.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, I do like the art cover here.
Yeah.
You know, with the girl, the silhouette, and the birds and everything. How did you come up with that?
You know, so I got to give props and apologies. I don't have her name, but third party I hired for the cover design. She's actually in the Philippines. I got her from Fiverr. Most indie authors might know about Fiverr. That's where you can get editors and everything. And I hired her, and I gave her a couple pictures of other books, and I typed an idea of what I wanted. The birds in the cover, if you read it, you'll connect those birds, okay. Right? And I sent her those ideas, and she sent me back 3 covers. And this one, as soon as I saw it, I was like, "This is it. This is it." When I saw this cover, I actually saw scenes from my book connect to that. So I was like, "This is it." It was great.
Fair enough.
Yep.
All right, let's delve right into it. This book takes place in 1968, right?
Yeah, it starts.
Yeah,
yep.
It begins there.
Yep.
I should say, and then progresses on. Why that year?
So, Priscilla started in 1968. Is as a writer, I write fiction. Everything in it is false and it's made up. The characters are made up. None of this happened to anyone I know. But I think it's important that even though what's happening to these characters are fiction, I want them to be in real life times, right? Okay, so, 1968 is a pivotal year for the nation, the world. Yeah. You know, the things that happened that year.
Yeah, civil rights and all that
civil
stuff
rights
was going
movement
on
and everything.
at that
So,
time.
you know, and as you keep following J. Jerome through his books, you'll see these characters, even though what's happening to them is not real, they're in places you're like, I was there, or I saw that on the news, or I know that happened. Real life stuff is going around my characters, even though their story is fiction. Yeah, that's how I like to write.
And so it takes place at that time. She starts off in can I say like Baltimore?
Yeah,
yeah.
It starts in Baltimore, and she comes of age, and she moves around a little bit.
She moves around. She goes into a big city and things of that nature.
Yep.
She becomes an orphan very quickly in the story, right?
Immediately, yeah.
Immediately in the story, right? She that's what grabs everybody, all the readers who have read the book. She becomes an orphan, boom, right away.
Yeah.
And her auntie takes her in. And from there, their relationship with each other was just awesome, and how that grows, and and the things that she goes through, and the way she comes out on the end. I think that was very good how you put that in there.
Thank you.
With that brings me to the question of, by the end of this book, her mental state. Can you describe where's Priscilla's mental state at the end of this book?
You know, it's a good question, you know, because throughout the story, she's evolving and things are happening to her that makes her take choices and takes these different paths. I would say at the end of this book, she's defining herself. She's becoming who she's going to be as an adult. Right. She is confident, and she still knows she has a lot of work to be done. And the way I end the story is I just want to make sure the reader and Priscilla as the character have reassurance that, you know what, I am who I am now. And this is going to take me to the next steps. We
got a lot of questions as the readers. As the readers, we have a lot of questions.
You do, yeah.
Right, because it ends, with a lot of questions. But before we get there, there's one other person, Roy. All right? And let me tell you, Roy is a character in the book. He is a protagonist to Priscilla. And Roy took me on a roller coaster of emotions through the book. I believe telling you, Roy, this son of he better not be who, But what was the inspiration behind Roy? And, how did you come up with that character?
So Roy, I get a lot of questions about Roy, a lot of text messages of people that's read the book already, people that are reading it currently. Roy is the first thing that they ask about. For me as a writer, Roy is not so much I created this character to be this villain, like if we're watching Marvel or something. Roy is...
He's very personal.
Yeah. But to me, Roy represents more of that thing that makes the character do what they do. It takes them, puts them off on this journey, puts them off into these decisions and shapes their being. So if you keep following J. Jerome, you'll find in another story, Roy might be an event. Roy might be a marriage, a funeral, a fight, an argument. It just so happened in Priscilla, Roy was a person that set off all these chain of events.
That's that I can definitely agree with that. So I know a lot of fans who want to know by her being an orphan and things of that nature, do she get justice for her father's murder? Is it coming? Will she ever get that?
Good question. You know, I get that question a lot, and
we need that closure.
Yeah. You know, if you're a reader of Priscilla and you're going to keep following J. Jerome down the road, you want that answer. And I'm going to 2 words: book 2. Book 2. You know, I answer it. Book 2.
Book 2. Book 2.
Yep.
Book 2. Okay. We'll take it.
Yeah.
Do we have any time frame? How long would it be?
For book 2?
For book 2.
Book 2, it'll be 2021. It's going right now. It's going really well. The story, so, you know, I may be 3/4 of the way through book 2.
Okay.
In my head, book 2 is done. I know exactly how it's going to end, and what it's going to do is going to answer all of your questions in this book, but then it's going to create maybe 15 more questions. So
This
maybe Priscilla might morph into book 3.
I hope so. So now let's get more personal with you.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. What do you like to do when you're not writing?
Good question. You know, I'm more of a family guy. You know, I'm at home. I like to be at home with my family.
Like we are now.
Yeah. I like to relax, chill out with family. You know, listen to music, watch TV shows, write other things. I'm the type of person I like to have everything I want in my home, so I can relax and just, you know, not really have to go out. I'm more of a family grounded guy. Yeah.
Pretty interesting. You seem like somebody who experienced a lot of the world to write something like this.
It's a good point. It's a good point. I've been around the block, you know. I've been around the block, and it's interesting that you said that because, you know, I grew up in Chicago, South Side. I've seen it a lot, but the one thing I will say, and I've gotten this question too, like everything that happens in this book hasn't happened to anyone that I know or myself, and it's weird to me because like other writers can relate to this. When you stop, start. Sometimes you sit and you got all these chapters in one day, and when I sit down, it's like it just comes out. And I joke with my wife a lot, like Priscilla must be some lady that's possessing me and saying, tell my story. Because this stuff hasn't happened to anyone I know.
Man, that's deep.
Yeah.
So, if people are aspiring to be writers, other people like you, right, that are writing books, trying to get this stuff out there, what would be, you know, advice or suggestions you would give them?
Good question. Write. Keep writing and keep writing. You know, you're going to have times, it might be months, you might go a year where you don't put your pen to paper, but just write. You know, everybody's got a smartphone now. Get the notepad out. If you're riding in the car with somebody, you're sitting, you're watching the show, pause it, you get an idea, write it. In the middle of the night, you get up to go to the bathroom, you got an idea, write it. Write notes all the time and transfer it to your main manuscript. Just write, keep writing.
That's awesome. And after they get past that step, you know, let's say how did you get this book published?
Good question. You know, there's typically 2 ways. Traditional, you write a book and then you try to get traditional publishing like a book deal, right? So you shop yourself and you're looking for a book deal with an agent and everything like that. And then self-publishing. So self-publishing is here now. It's more than an explosion.
Yeah.
So many self-published authors. And I use 3 sources.
Okay.
Amazon Kindle, Ingram Spark, and Drafted Digital. And how would I explain those are third-party aggregators. Basically, they'll print your book on demand and deliver them to your readers, and you get royalties back from them. And basically, you know, there's another one out there, BookBaby, but those are the main 3 I use. You get your book done, you get it edited, you get the cover done, get it clean, perfect, and then basically on those sites you load the files.
I like this one.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Where can people get Priscilla today? How can I get a hold of it?
Everywhere. You can go to Apple Books, Barnes and Noble, Walmart, Amazon, Kobo. If you're over in Canada, any bookseller publisher in the UK, Australia, you can get this online, shipped to your ebook right now, immediately. And
Amazon.
If you can go to any site and type in Priscilla J. Jerome, or you can go to J. Jerome Books, and those links are there too. Or you can go to my social media sites, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, J. Jerome, and you'll see the links there.
Okay. Is it anywhere people can? You're going to be anywhere publicly that people can meet you publicly and get a signed copy? How can people get a signed copy of the book?
Good question. There's two parts to that. So June 19th in Chicago, East 75th Street, I'll be at a book expo, and I'll be available to sign books, answer questions about Priscilla, and I'll be posting about it more. I'll post about it a couple times, but I'll keep doing that. But June 19th, and then in addition to that, if you want a signed personal copy, you can send a direct message to J. Jerome Instagram or J. Jerome Facebook, and we could connect to set up the shipping cost, and I'll personally sign it for you and send you a copy.
Awesome. So now that we got the plugging out the way, what do your family think about the book?
It's a good question. The response is overwhelmingly positive. My wife was a big part of this because, once I started telling her what it was about, she gave me advice on it, and she was really liking the story. My oldest daughter, she was one of the first people that kind of gave me that nudge, like, this is really good, and then my brother, he helped me with editing, and I knew I had something special here. And other family members who have bought the book, I have one cousin that read it in 2 days. I have an aunt, she read it in 1 day. I connected with another up-and-coming author on Instagram. She wanted a signed copy. We set up the shipping. I sent it to her. This morning, actually, she sent me an Instagram message and said, that damn Roy, I can't put this book down. So it's an overwhelming positive response from family and friends, and it's encouraging.
Okay. So we got the family reviews. What have you been hearing so far from everybody else? What have been the reviews of the book overall, people that's not family?
Yeah, like my fellow author, people can't put this book down. And then I got a couple reviews on Instagram. It's funny. The journey is more about keeping you suspense and taking you on the journey with Priscilla. But I got a couple reviews where the review was more towards young people could use this as a guide. And basically of making choices in life, not making bad choices. So I didn't even expect it to be that type of a response. So the response of, wow, this is a thriller. Wow, what a story. Wait a minute. Some young people might be able to use this and say, I'm not going to make those type of bad choices and have a better life. Like, those are some of the responses that I'm getting from people that have read it already.
So that's awesome. So that leads me to the next question. So things like that will motivate some people. Mm-hmm. So what would you say is your motivation now for continuing to finishing these books and keep pushing out more books? What is your motivation now for writing?
My motivation is now what it's been. Like I said, about 7 books since grammar school, high school, is to get them done. And just now that I know that people are interested and they like the way I take the reader on the journey, I got a lot more to go, and I got a lot more stories. You like Priscilla, I got another character, man. You really gonna like him. So I'm motivated to get those stories out there.
We are really loving the story. We really loving Priscilla. I believe we have covered all the questions. That was fast. Man.
It was fast, but it was good.
It was good. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this has been J. Jerome, the covering of Priscilla. Man, it's a great book. Like I said, I enjoyed it. It is becoming one of the fastest growing books out there. Please go and get it. Hey man, let's do this again.
Thank you.
Second book or the next one, right?
Yep.
All right.